Well, hello everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with your Southern Indiana weather forecast, sponsored today by Metal Magic in Washington. Give Chad a call at 698-8555 for all of your paintless tint repair needs and tell them Southern Indiana weather sent you. We have a very wet period entering the forecast, folks. In fact, really from Thursday today all the way through, at least Tuesday and next week, and possibly even beyond that. We're entering a very wet forecast period, which we'll talk about the details of. You can thank that due to the remnants of Hurricane Simon that was near the Baja Peninsula in California. Upper level wind shear is essentially going to blow it into what is going to become a stalled front in our area, and that'll just sort of be a pipeline for moisture. As I put future radar here into motion, you can see waves of precipitation moving through here early on Thursday the morning. Thursday afternoon, more rain coming into the forecast, possibly a little bit of break in the action before more rain moves on Thursday night and into the overnight hours. By the time Friday comes, look at this, another major wave of rain moving through the area, and really it's just off and on rain showers as far as the eye can see on the high resolution NAM going into the wee hours of Saturday morning. If we take a look at what the Euro model has to say, it says pretty much that exact same thing. As we go into early on Thursday, we start and then we move out. You can see here we are in Indiana right here. And you can see literally just waves of precipitation moving through us. In fact, and it lasts for days and days and days. In fact, here we are by Monday overnight into Tuesday. We've got a big system that could potentially move our way. Very potent cold front. We'll have to watch this very closely to see whether there's any potential for severe weather. I do believe that somebody will end up with a squall line out of this. A lot of questions right now. Does that end up being us? Likely probably more to our south than for us. My gut feeling is that we're probably going to avoid the severe weather on this one, but we'll keep an eye on it, and then if anything changes, of course, we'll keep you updated in the coming days. But I do think that there could end up being a pretty potent squall line. My gut is probably from Tennessee on southward may end up getting that. I just don't think the dynamics are going to be quite in our favor this time around, but we do have a good deal of time before then. Lots can change. Regardless, though, it is going to be a pretty potent cold front as it moves through, and it's going to bring a lot of rain with it. Notice this huge dip in the jet stream, and up in the mid-level jet stream, really. The red lines that you're looking through here on this map, you've got precipitation at the surface, but the red lines are indicating 500 millibar heights. This is the, sometimes I'll show you a 500 millibar chart, and essentially what that is we're just looking at winds and heights in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Basically, when we talk about a dip in the jet stream that moves south, that's exactly what this is. But notice how far south this baby moves down, and that is going to indicate much cooler weather potentially coming our way. But at the same time, that is just an extremely potent. Notice that it spins sort of a cutoff low as you continue on in time. The Euro is alone in its thinking with this right now. The GFS is not on board with this idea yet, nor are the ensembles. So for right now, the GFS is sort of the outlier, but we will keep an eye on this to see whether anything comes about with this. In fact, if the Euro is to be believed in this, it would only keep high temperatures in the 50s for a few days as we go into that extended period. So we will keep an eye on that. If you believe the ensembles, not a chance with that. We're talking mid to upper 60s during that same time period, even some 70 marks. Actually, it started from about the 16th to the 19th at the end of that model. And you can see the 50s for the Euro translate to near 70 degrees for the GFS ensembles. So lots of disagreements right now as to how that will pan out. We'll keep an eye on it right now. This is only one run of the Euro model. If it continues to show that idea, then we'll trend in the cooler direction. But it's out there, and something that we'll continue to end up watching. Very mild period entering the forecast as far as the eye can see, really, but a very wet period as well. Let's talk about how much rain we could end up getting. Well, according to the GFS model, a decent amount of rain, but not as much as the Euro. A good 2 to 3 inches area wide here. As I zoom this in, you can see some of the projected totals from this particular run of the GFS. If the Euro is any indication, though, much more. Instead of 2 to 3 inches, you see even 6.4 inches in Evansville, 5.9 in Bloomington, 4.9 at the Huntingburg Airport, 5 point something kind of covered up here in Louisville. You get the idea that a 4 to 5 inch rain over the next several days area wide according to the Euro model, whereas it's only 3 or 4 inches at most, more like a 2 to 3 inch for the GFS. So there's again some differences in the modeling, but regardless, it's going to rain no matter how you look at it. Weather Prediction Center is putting us into the 3 to 4 inch category area wide across southern Indiana as well, as far as for what they're expecting. So a very, very, very wet and active period awaits us really for about the next week. Now, what about beyond this? We've got yet another tropical cyclone, a super typhoon Fong out in the Pacific Ocean. Here's the track on it. It's currently right here, and it is going to recurve and head towards Japan. You know exactly what that means when it recurves. Jacks up the jet stream, and we are the recipient of much colder weather a week to 10 days later or so, roughly. Beyond that, you can see this is a very well-defined eye on Super Typhoon Fong. And this baby means business. It's packing winds of about 145 knots right now. And so thankfully, it will weaken a little bit before it heads to Japan. That's good because they certainly don't need 145 knot winds hitting them. But nonetheless, even though it's going to weaken, it's a very powerful storm still, and that'll create a lot of wave problems for them. For us, though, it will jack the jet stream up, and that means really what we can say is sometime from the 20th to 25th or so in that time frame, we're going to be looking for a major cool down yet again. Now, the GFS ensembles are not catching on to that idea yet. They're keeping us in the mid-60s during that time frame. Over the coming days, we'll trend these GFS ensembles, and I think what you'll see is the models will start to catch on. What you'll likely see is these 60s will go down to highs in the 50s. I think that's probably where we're going to head, just with knowing some gut instinct and understanding how these things interact. I think we're going to see a few days with highs in the 50s, and I think we'll probably end up with what could be our first freeze of 32 degrees or below of the season in the area then. That's coming up sometime in the 20th to 25th time frame is my gut feeling on that based on when this typhoon will interact there. So we'll watch the models over the coming days and see how that interacts. That's sort of what to expect. As I said, a very active and wet time frame coming up for us. Here's what your 10-day forecast looks like, sponsored by the Smile Center. Going up to about 68 degrees on Thursday, mostly cloudy with some scattered showers and thunderstorms again. Only 62 on Friday with more rain. 60 on Saturday, even colder, more rain. Sunday, yep, you guessed it, rain. Monday, rain. Tuesday, rain. It's very mild temperatures, at least, with that southwest wind. But plenty of rain again, really 3 to 5, maybe isolated higher amounts area wide as we go through early next week. So we're definitely not in any drought around here by any means, and this will certainly get a very soggy feel to it around there where there won't be much sunshine, maybe a few peaks here and there, but beyond that, Wednesday is probably the return of sunshine. Some showers early in the day, clearing for the afternoon hours, and we get a couple of pleasant days after that. Again, the Euro model keeps rain around even through all of the 10-day outlook on here, but it is the outlier at this point. Trend that over coming days to see whether it holds on to that idea. If it holds on to that idea the next couple of model runs, and certainly I'll take that into consideration. But as of right now, we'll end the rain on Wednesday and move on from there. We'll see how that goes. All right, folks, so again, a very active period setting up. We'll keep an eye on it. Just to recap, severe weather possible on Monday for somebody. Will it be for us? Not looking overly likely for us at this point, but there is still a remote possibility that things could change this early out, so we will keep an eye on that. The biggest story is going to be the very mild temperatures. No 80s or warm weather really in sight, just 60s and low 70s dominate the time frame with plenty of rain. That's it for this video update, folks. I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite with your Southern Indiana Weather Long Range Forecast. Have a great day, folks. We'll see you next time.